Hello, Internet. I am so tired. Got back from Dragon Con yesterday. Left Thursday. I think I mentioned that last time. And it was an adventure and a half and then some, to say the least. Hardly took any pictures because my camera is very old and the battery decided that it was just done. This point and shoot camera is so old that there are cell phones that take better pictures than it does. But I was with enough people, they got tons of pictures, so if I need to see anything or post anything, I can probably bug one of them. And for that reason, no like on the floor video thingies, because the microphone couldn't pick me up. Battery life I could get. I actually tried to shoot like a 30-second video after the camera had a fresh charge, and then as soon as that, I recorded just some 30-second blurb. I went back and watched the video. Not only could I not hear myself over the crowds, but the camera started flashing its low battery indicator after shooting a 30-second video. So it's probably about time to retire that one. Luckily, I won't need a point-and-shoot camera until Dragon Con next year, so I have plenty of time to stash some money aside for that. So yeah, fun times. Didn't go to nearly as many panels as I wanted to, because they were all out of the 10 panels I wanted to see, 8 of them were on Saturday between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. And I think they do that just so, like, the big name panels, every single person won't try to go to them. And I think that's why, so people have to kind of choose between one or another. But then, you can't go and see all of them. But a lot of the people I wanted to see ended up canceling. And I saw one of them they have a TV, well, most cons, at least ones I've been to, have like a dedicated TV channel. And they show some recordings of the bigger name panels. I watched the one for the show Arrow, which had John Barrowman and the guy who played Slade and the woman who plays the police officer that showed up in the later half of the season. And I'm great with the characters' names for a show that I love to death. But that aside, came in late for one of the Adrian Paul Highlander panels. That was a lot of fun. Later I went to the Walk of Fame, which is where a bunch of the guests, the celebrity guests, just sit around and, there's lines for autographs and pictures and whatnot. Most of them, I think all of them charge for well, they don't. Their agents make them charge for photographs. If it was up to them, they'd probably do it for free, because most of them are just really excited to be there and get to mingle with the fans and all that. But after that panel, I went and chatted with Adrian Paul from Highlander for a bit, and that was pretty cool. And then saw, just walking by, John Barrowman, George Takei, like everyone from Walking Dead that was there, I saw in person at some point. And most of the cast of Torchwood, aside from John, James Marsters was there as he normally is. Who else did I see? I saw the Green Ranger, Jason Frank. Not Jason, the original Red Ranger, the actor Jason Frank, who played Tommy. Who else? Saw Lou Ferrigno. Almost walked up and high-fived him, but I feared for my arm's safety. I expected that to happen. Though my brother has said that he shook his hand once and it was a really weak handshake. But, maybe it was just a long day. Who else? Friend actually stood in line and talked to John Barrowman for a minute or two, but didn't get an autograph. Well, his autographs were pretty cheap considering. I think that's all on that. Most of it, honestly, was just drinking and partying with a bunch of fellow nerds. Went with a group of some people I knew and some I was meeting for the first time. piled in 8 people in what should be a 4-person hotel room, which is not all that uncommon at conventions if you're poor like us. And there was another group of friends went. They're normally the ones I go with, but they've gotten to it. The group's kind of gotten to the point where they either have to get 2 rooms and cram 15 or 16 people in to make it, affordable, or just stick with 1 room. We're kind of in an in-between area where it starts to get too expensive again. So I made other plans this year. But it was a lot of fun. We drank so much. So much. We went in the gaming room where they have like the board games and card games and stuff at it was Saturday night, but it was after midnight, so it was technically Sunday morning. About 1 or 2, I had gone to the Professor Elemental concert earlier, and then we went to that game room and played just a huge game of beer pong that lasted until, well, several matches that went on until about 5 or 6 in the morning. Then stumbled back to our room and crashed until, I think, 3 the next day, because we had managed to go with maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night up to that point, and then just, that was too much. But we had an audience. People were sitting, like, taking pictures and tweeting, and just texting their friends and saying, hey, come look at this. And for a short time, we were kind of celebrities. And then the night after that, we had one last adventure, and people just kept giving us free beer. It was the people who looked at their coolers and said, there's too much of this for us to drink in one night. I don't want to take it home, so we're going to just give it away. And they were much more responsible than us, because we saw how much we had left and decided we have to finish this tonight. And by God, we did. And it still hurts a little. Yeah, those were some of those fun, good times. What else did I see? Lots of costumes. Fewer of the big, extravagant ones than I remember seeing in years past, but I was also, it was also a lot more crowded, and I got a bit agoraphobic a little ways in. And that might have been why. I may have just missed the really good photo taking times. Normally there's just one entire hotel is basically where all the costumers gather. And there's just so many of them at once, and there's so many people trying to take pictures. And that's also where 2 of the big auditoriums are. And that's where they put some of the bigger panels. So there are people lined up, there are people lining up to take pictures, there are people in costumes trying to find places to pose that aren't, fire hazards. And it just, the con has gotten to be so big in recent years, it's just a mess. Like, a good kind of mess in its way, not like I don't know where I was going with that. But it's, it's awesome, but if you have some minor social anxieties, they can kind of hinder that, depending. What else? At this point, that was my 3rd Dragon Con. I always get excited about them, but it's the kind of thing of when you start to talk about it, you kind of gloss over in your brain the things that you see every year. I kind of felt like this was going to be a super long video, but it's like I figured this was going to be like a 15 or 20 minute video, but I guess not. But let's see. It has to be something else. I guess that's it. A little bit about Dragon Con. It used to be a gaming convention, I think. I hear tell that it used to be. And now it's just kind of turned into a general fandom convention. A couple of years ago, a lot of the Supernatural cast was there. The Warehouse 13 cast generally shows up. That's who I wanted to see. Forgot to go back to the Walk of Fame to see if Eddie McClintock would be, well, if he'd have a line or not. I imagine he would. They're doing the last season of that, the last 5-episode season. So I don't know if I'm sure they'll be back next year for the 1 year later type thing. And I hear so often from the celebrities that it's one of their favorite conventions that they go to. They can actually meet people, and it's not. They're not trying to sell anything. They're just here they're there to just talk to the fans and all that. But yeah, got back after that mass of humanity, and went to sleep at 7 yesterday and woke up at 7 this morning. And that's someone texting me, and I'll get that in a second. Oh, that's an important thing to talk about. We make every convention that... Okay, apparently I'm popular today. Convention tradition is mixing what we call the firewater, named when we were really drunk and wondering what to call this drink we made. Well, more on that in a second. But essentially what we do is we take a little bit of each kind of liquor that someone brings and pour it all into what used to be the bag inside a box of box wine. And then put that in a backpack that we've fashioned to have a hole in it so that the little spigot can come out. And this year we got creative and had some ice in like a bag that wouldn't leak and put it in there to keep it cool while we were walking around. And then we just walk around and drink that and make it strong so that we can mix it with soda or something from the con room. But since Dragon Con is really huge and you can only get free soda in like one very specific place, we're just drinking straight liquor out of a backpack in solo cups. And it's a bit like I know they call it this with fountain drinks, but like an icy, where you get one of every flavor and call it a suicide. That's basically what it is in alcohol form, and it's dangerous, and unless you're a professional, I don't recommend it, or I recommend you don't take it lightly, because it gets you drunk, and that's really all it's for. And since it's always so random, there were some mixes that didn't taste like alcohol at all, and there was one, like the very first batch we ever made, or that was ever made. I don't think I was actually there for that one. But after they had mixed all these various types of booze together, it just tasted like water. There was no trace of alcohol taste. It didn't really burn your throat. It was just water that got you drunk. So it was named the Firewater, and it's different every time. And at one point during that beer pong game, we ran out of beer, and we used the Firewater instead, and things devolved from there. There might be pictures of us on the internet somewhere, we don't really know. But no decency laws were broken, so it's all in good fun. I think that's it. This will be the last poorly lit video, I promise. I'm going to start moving tomorrow. I'm going to get some actual lights so that I won't be sitting in shadow despite all the light back here. So that's just weird looking. Now get that done, maybe post some videos more regularly. We'll see how that goes. And yeah. I may or may not go to sleep again after this. So I'm just that tired. But till the next video, we'll see you then. And that didn't make any sense. I'm just going to stop.